Hello, everybody. It says I'm alive. Welcome to the space. I'm trying to be quick today because Miss Reading Healings is going live. Ow! I'm trying to be quick because Miss Reading Healings is going live and I don't want to miss it. So, time is of the essence, right? I'm gonna be here for as long as I need to be, obviously, but time is also of the essence because, like I said, I want to be there. So I had a dream last night, or a few dreams last night. The only part that I really remember is that I had written a paper, and it was being judged, or I went to go ask the proctor, professor, teacher person about the paper that I had written in my grade, and I had basically gotten a zero because they said that I had plagiarized or copied it, and I was like, I wrote that myself. Like, what are you talking about? And then there was like, oh well, there's this one concept that you use that somebody else used, and weirdly enough, it ended up being the concept of like frenemies. And I was like, okay, well, first of all, like frenemies aren't it's an actual thing. And like if y'all know how I feel about frenemies, it's like I don't really feel the need to have frenemies in my life. You know? Like if friends are people that I have to compete against or whatever, then it's like I don't want you in my life. Like, you know. Anyway, and so then after that, they reread the paper, and not only was the concept of frenemies not in there, but they're like, "Oh, this is like actually really well written." And I was like, "Thank you. I know. I wrote it." Um, who is this? The Magician in the Mirror came out in reverse. Bottom of the deck is the door to personal healing and happiness. Um, and I remember, so I have the energy oracle cards because I'm looking for the temple path. In the space of that paper, it I ended it with blessed temple instead of like blessings or have a blessed day or whatever. It was blessed temple. And at that, like in the dream, I was like, oh, I ended it in blessed temple because it's like, I don't know, the whole temple is blessed or something. I don't know. Now that I wake up, I'm like, wait. And I also use an emoji in the paper that signified a path. And so that's why I'm looking for the temple path. Some of these cards in reverse, I already shuffled it. I was just gonna take it as it is. I forgot. Sorry. And then I looked at the Farmer's Almanac for today. It is good luck for a bride to marry under a banana tree. And it reminded me of the Empress in the Mystic Monday tarot. So I had to dig that out. And I'm gonna look at this as it is. I'm gonna find the Empress, see what's around her. Empress energy is one that's been coming out a lot lately, or appearing more than usual. Oh wow. There's what, five majors at the bottom of the deck. We have strength and judgment. Notice sort of like the red sun or the red star in the sky at the same place. Strength and judgment. I feel like this was a process. This was a space of trial that we walked through with integrity, strength, and following our intuition because it's a white tiger. And then we have the hermit and the lovers. I feel like this is a series of choices and decisions that get us even closer to ourselves, right? When things become a more true, more accurate depiction and reflection. And then the world card, which is like, not only are you navigating this space of challenge with strength, you're also becoming more and more truly, genuinely, authentically yourself. It's going to lead to a whole bunch of brand new. So it's not too surprising that the world card came out. But five majors at the bottom. I was like, what? Looking for Empress Banana in the hand. This is one of my incomplete decks, which is why I don't use it too often. There was a point in time where I would like wake up fairly early and I would pull like three of these or something and do an energy of the day or whatever. Um, and I would use them outside sometimes, and I guess I lost some cards or left some cards and I didn't even notice. And now they're who knows where. But I'm pretty sure the Empress is one of the cards. Here she is. Yeah. So the Empress is sitting in between the High Priestess and the King of Swords, which is very interesting. It reminds me, it's like, highest or a higher vibrational King of Swords energy makes room for the unexplainable. Higher vibrational King of Swords energy makes room, realizes, appreciates, not only realizes and appreciates, but also seeks out the High Priestess, that which does not make sense. Also, this is a little bit of a callback to the other channel and the reading that came out then. This is the space of sort of what we were recognized for or what we achieved, something achieved in the past. But it was almost like it wasn't really given the time to see how it would play out in real life. And that's what we're in the space of discovering. So, with the Magician in the mirror in reverse, it's almost like it's a time. There's 34 upright and 53 in reverse. So it's almost the same, but it's like a step off. And so it's like it's almost a time to maybe sit back and observe more than to create or to see how your creations sort of play out. Right? Because the space is different. And even if this idea was what it was at the time it was conceived, the space is different now. And so it may interact differently, it may play out differently. But I'm going to look and see where the temple path is. And then we're going to get into. It's also. Okay, well, the temple path is in between Archangel Gabriel, fifth chakra, and the door to romance, 33 and 39. There's also a space of the unknown here. High Priestess is on the door to romance. King of Swords is on the throat chakra. It's like you may not necessarily know how something is going to play out, but communication is key. And it feels like more than communication, it's the intermingling of ideas. And I was just noticing today how I am a little bit more receptive to certain types of feedback in a way that I would never be before. I'm just like, you know what? Like, I don't really care that much. It's not that big of a deal to me. I'm not going to invest anything into this. But now I'm like, well, let me stop. Let me actually listen. And then more often than not, it's like, okay, well, the moon and the King of Pentacles. Not wrong. The moon and the King of Pentacles, the High Priestess and the King of Swords. This is the energy from that channel. Because it's like we go in as the King of Swords, we mature into this King of Pentacles. And there's something about when it was conceived, it was groundbreaking, it was brilliant, it was something that should not have even, it's like a conclusion that should not have even been able to have been reached in the time and the scenario situation that it was reached in. But the physical conditions weren't yet right for it to sort of blossom. And so it went into a period of dormancy. Now we have to find it, reawaken it, and discover what it's going to be in this lifetime. And again, with that moon card, nothing is certain. It wasn't really certain the first time. What was certain, though, is that it was ahead of its time. So, it is good luck for a bride to marry under a banana tree. It's interesting, I guess. So, the thing about bananas is that they're all clones. If you haven't noticed, bananas don't have seeds, they don't naturally grow. Humanity has been keeping bananas alive for quite some time. It's like you graft bananas onto already growing trees. Now, there are like plantains and things like that, like natural bananas that still grow. But the bananas that we sort of know and we like you get at the grocery store, they're all genetically modified, basically. and not necessarily through genetic manipulation, but because again, they don't have seeds, they don't naturally grow. It's through human intervention that we continue to get them. Um, and because bananas are all genetically identical, if something affects one banana, it will affect all bananas. And it might have been the Gros Michel, but there was like one strain or species of bananas that almost got like completely wiped out because on banana, I think they're called plantations, girl. On banana farms, there was like a fungus or a bacteria that just like decimated them. And again, since they don't have any genetic diversity, it's not like some bananas survived and others didn't. They just all didn't survive. But if it's a banana tree, then I'm assuming it's natural. But a banana tree would not be easy to find because, again, they don't have seeds, they don't naturally reproduce. And so it feels like it could be the energy of like a catch 22 or an impossible situation. It's like, well, you'll never find a banana tree because there are no banana trees. That's a different tree that has bananas grafted onto it. And maybe that's why this high priestess is kind of sort of here too. Yeah, see, this is the space, like I said, because I think a lot of times we view the King of Swords as like analytical or logical or about the facts. And a lot of times when we think about sort of like analytical and logical people, it seems that logical people don't have much room for the intuitive, or intelligent people don't have much room for the intuitive. But the King of Swords has very much room for it. Even if he doesn't necessarily have the intuition himself, he knows when to respect it. And she is sitting in front of this sort of doorway passageway. Also, last night, my brother was like, he texted me. He was like, "Do you hear that noise outside?" I was like, "No." Like, what are you talking about? So I went in his room and he was like, there was a cicada. And I was just thinking about maybe the cicadas aren't going to hit Illinois. But there was one cicada and it was so loud in his room, but in my room it wasn't as loud. And we share a wall. And from where it sounded like it was coming from, it sounded like it was coming from around the space where our walls connect. And so I watched Cindy on her Spiritual Chrysalis channel, her Mandela effect video. And it was today. I was like, did he like take me into his reality where cicadas are here? Because I did not want to hear them. But maybe it is a little bit of that. So now the King of Swords is with the Door to Romance, and the High Priestess is with the fifth chakra Archangel Gabriel. In this temple path. There was a time when bananas would have been natural, though. So this could be, that's a whole bunch, but I guess I'll take it. Bottom of the deck is Temperance. I don't know why Coca Cola just popped into my mind, but Coca Cola, basically, from my interpretation, it's a song about a drunk girl who's like having the time of her life, who's drinking Coca Cola instead of alcohol. And in the song, they keep saying it's like she drinks her Coca Cola, she can't tell the difference yet. It's like she can't tell that she's not even drinking what she thinks she's drinking to the point where she's acting the way that she's acting. It's like those studies where you give people like fake alcohol, or you give them a beverage that's non-alcoholic, but you tell them that it has alcohol in it, and then they start behaving intoxicated even though there's no alcohol in it. So it is a little psychosomatic. It is a little bit like that mind body connection. My least favorite card from this deck popped out at the top of the stack. The Four of Pentacles. She's holding a pomegranate. The pomegranate up top, the banana below. Pomegranate, very Persephone vibes, but it's like the only thing that grows in the underworld. We have the only thing that grows in the underworld and a fruit that can't grow naturally. It can only grow in human under like human intervention. But because it only grows under human intervention, there's a certain natural hardiness that it just doesn't have. The Four of Pentacles with the Ten of Wands, Strength. This is one of my favorite strength cards. Just like the Knight of Pentacles, I love how watery it is. The Eight of Wands and the Messenger. Bottom of the deck is Temperance, and under Temperance is the World. So this Magician in the Mirror and the door to personal healing and happiness, it takes on a sort of, especially this card, it takes on a whole new meaning. This is an energy. So with the Four of Pentacles and the Ten of Wands, this is us realizing that it's like, we're never going to find a banana tree because banana trees don't exist in this space. And this is us sort of going on this journey or seeking out the divine, like, oh, how am I supposed to do this? But there's a development that occurs in a spiritual space with this strength card that is super watery and that rainbow tail. Orcas are technically dolphins, right? And not killer whales are technically dolphins. And with killer whales being dolphins, you wouldn't be surprised at their behavior because that's how dolphins act. But there is also a little bit of an illusion of like a little bit of an energy of something like a glamour or an illusion. Not necessarily in a bad way. It just sort of is. It appears as something else. But whenever this part is found or embraced with whenever the spiritual happening happens, it's like it looses something that allows for communication in a way that's like all of these letters would have been backed up. And then with this messenger card, maybe it is a little bit of teaching that we come into after we discover how to do this ourselves. It reminds me of the Sagittarius reading that Miss Remy Healings did. I don't know why I watched it. I mean, my North Node is in Sagittarius, and I know that like any reading can be for anybody, but more often than not, I'm the type of person I'll watch Pisces and Taurus because I'm a Pisces sun, Taurus moon and rising. Sometimes I'll watch Aries because my Venus is in Aries. And like, I always think it's funny when someone's doing all signs and then they go Pisces and then Aries and then Taurus because like that's Pat. My name is Patrick, right? I was like, hey, that's cute. But anyway, there's something in this that's able to reach into other spaces. And this is an energy that came out before. It's like we reach into the spaces where it is and we pull it into the spaces where it is not. And that's the thing about this sort of banana tree. Because again, it's like, well, within this sort of reality, we don't have natural banana trees, not bananas. If you want plantains or like something else, then yeah. But for the bananas that we're used to, for like the bananas in the hand of this empress, we don't have those anymore. And so it's either this like transdimensional or across time sort of thing that we're able to sort of reach into and make it as if it were here. Maybe we grab bananas from that space where bananas exist and we plant those seeds here. And that also reminds me of that energy. It's like there are certain things that, like, there are certain energies that just don't naturally exist on Earth anymore. But the beautiful thing about Earth is that it can grow to accommodate almost anything. So even though it's not naturally here, it doesn't mean that it can't find its home here. And for a lot of quantum things, it's almost like we don't see the quantum nature of them really unless they're separation. Like with a lot of quantum theory, it's like these two things separated across a great distance act as if they are together. And that's something I've been seeing a lot today, even before I started this. It's patience. I saw two trees. It was a little cartoon. And one of the trees is like, can I hold you? And the other tree is like, you're going to have to be patient. And then over time, their roots grew together and they were touching. And then I saw something else that kind of sort of echoed a similar sentiment. I don't remember what it was anymore. And it's not necessarily patience, but it is that like something that is only really observable in a space of separation. Because the Empress is here, but the Emperor isn't. And then with this door to romance, it's very like Alice in Wonderland feeling. With the temple path, oh my gosh, the Ianus Geminis, right? Check out Rustling Around. Shout out to Russ. It reminds me of this one sci-fi show where they have two alternate dimensions, and one of them is thriving and the other one is falling apart. The other one is falling apart because something that they had was taken. And when that thing was taken, it's like the whole sort of reality just fell apart. And then much later, they started to collide where they're both in danger. And there was this bridge that connected them in a machine. And the thing that was taken was the only thing that could operate that bridge. And so there was a decision to choose one reality over the other. But the choice that was made was to save both realities. And that reminds me of I just watched it yesterday, Santero's Taurus video, where it's like you make a different choice. It's not either or. There is an and. But in the moment of pressure, and if you would listen to anybody talk about it, you wouldn't see the and. You would convince that it's either them or us. But anyway, they saved both realities, and then that bridge was still there. And because the bridge was there, they were able to form this sort of amicable connection. Anyway, it kind of feels like again the high priestess is standing in the way. It's like there's this one world here, and then there's this wavy world here, and she's coming out of the wavy space, right? Which is another reason why sometimes it's important to respect the high priestess for what she is, because it's like there could be these ideas or these things that don't necessarily apply the same here. And again, that's a lot of what that King of Swords, at least, was. It's like the idea is there, but the conditions, it's like it's not necessarily favorable. Like, how does it work here? I don't know. Reaching across something to find this banana tree to have a blessed and auspicious wedding. I don't know what this is, but take it as it resonates. It could be anything. It could be everything. It could be nothing. I'll catch y'all later. I hope you have a good one. Whenever you see this, I hope you're acting in alignment to make all that you wish to experience your reality. And with the magician in reverse, I don't know if I said it, but with the magician and the mirror in reverse, again, it's like it's not found here. It's found somewhere else. But it can become more here, which is why we bring it here instead of just going wherever else, right? So I'll catch y'all later. Bye.